you ever looked at a car and felt like you accidentally stepped 10 years into the future? For the last century, cars have mostly followed the same basic recipe. They had grills to breathe air, curves to slip through the wind, and a shape that told you exactly what they were. But then a few years ago, a stainless steel triangle called the Cybertruck shattered every rule in the book. People laughed, people stared, and people bought them. Now that same alien DNA has been shrunk down, refined, and polished into something that might just end up in your neighbor's driveway. Welcome back to Crownline Reviews, where we get behind the wheel of the cars that are shaping our tomorrow. Today, we are looking at something incredibly special, a vehicle that represents the next massive leap for the world's most famous electric car company. This is the highly anticipated next-generation compact Tesla, widely expected to be the 2026 or 2027 Model 2. Before we dive into the sharp edges and the futuristic tech, let us take a quick step back and look at the legacy this car is inheriting. If you think about the Tesla Model 3 and the Model Y, they completely changed the automotive landscape. They were the cars that proved electric vehicles did not have to be slow, weird-looking science experiments. They made electric driving mainstream, wrapping incredible technology in smooth, jelly-bean-like curves that appealed to millions of people around the globe. But here's the honest truth. Those designs are getting a little bit old. You see them at every stoplight, in every grocery store parking lot, and on every highway. Tesla needed a new shock to the system. They needed a design that would make people stop and stare all over again, just like they did when the first Model S rolled out. This new vehicle is that shock. It takes the brutal, uncompromising geometry of the Cybertruck and translates it into a smaller, more accessible package. It is a bold departure from the curvy Teslas of the past, signaling a completely new era for the brand. Just look at this thing sitting here in the studio, plugged into that sleek supercharger. The very first thing that hits you is the paint. This isn't just white, it is a stark, brilliant refrigerator white that makes the car look like a piece of high-end consumer electronics. It looks like something designed in a clean room rather than a traditional automotive studio. The body lines are absolutely fascinating. Gone are the soft, sweeping curves of the Model 3. Instead, we have these sharp, origami-like creases that catch the light in dramatic ways. Look at how the hood slopes down in a perfectly flat plane, meeting a front fascia that is completely devoid of a traditional grille. It is aerodynamic, yes, but it is also incredibly aggressive. It looks like it is slicing through the air even when it is standing completely still. Let us move to the front end, because there are some really unique details here that you will not find on any other Tesla. Right at the leading edge, you have this ultra-thin edge-to-edge LED light bar. It gives the car a piercing, robotic stare that is instantly recognizable. But look closely just below that light bar. Instead of a smooth, featureless bumper, there is this fascinating textured panel. It looks almost like a digital honeycomb or a matrix of tiny, stylized perforations. It does not let air in. Electric cars do not need massive radiators like gas cars do, but it breaks up the visual mass of the front end and gives it a highly technical, premium feel. Below that, you have a chunky matte black lower bumper that wraps around the entire bottom of the car. This black cladding gives the vehicle a slightly lifted, rugged stance, almost blurring the line between a traditional sedan and a compact crossover. It is a very clever design trick that makes the car look tough and durable, perfect for surviving the daily grind of city parking and tight garages. Now let us talk about those wheels, because they are absolute showstoppers. These are not your standard alloy rims. They are massive, flat-faced aero shields designed to slice through the wind and maximize the car's battery range. But they are not boring. They feature this striking geometric pattern with contrasting silver and matte black triangles that perfectly echo the sharp angles of the bodywork. You can just barely see the dark brake calipers hiding behind them, keeping the focus entirely on that futuristic wheel design. The tires wrapped around them look meaty and substantial, filling out those squared-off blacked-out wheel arches perfectly. And then there is the greenhouse, the windows, and the roof. Notice how the entire upper half of the car is completely blacked out. The heavily tinted windows blend seamlessly into a sweeping black glass roof that stretches all the way from the windshield to the rear deck. It creates this beautiful two-tone effect, making the stark white body look like a protective shell sitting beneath a canopy of dark glass. While we cannot step inside this specific studio model today, we know exactly what to expect from the interior of a next-generation Tesla, and it's going to be a minimalist dream. Imagine opening the door, likely using your smartphone instead of a traditional key, and sliding into a cabin that feels more like a modern living room than a car. The dashboard will be completely bare, devoid of the dozens of buttons, dials, and vents you find in a normal car. Instead, everything will be controlled through a massive, crystal-clear touchscreen mounted right in the center. That screen is your command center. It is where you adjust the climate control, pick your music, navigate to your destination, and even play video games while you are parked at a charging station. The materials will be entirely vegan, featuring soft, synthetic leathers and perhaps some new, sustainable fabrics that feel great to the touch. And because there is no bulky gas engine up front or exhaust pipe running underneath, the floor will be completely flat, giving you an incredible amount of legroom and a feeling of airy spaciousness that is hard to find in a compact car. When it comes to performance, this new Tesla is going to change the way a lot of people think about daily driving. You do not need to be a race car driver to appreciate what an electric motor does. In a traditional gas car, when you step on the pedal, you have to wait. You wait for the engine to rev up, you wait for the transmission to shift gears, and then finally you start moving. In an electric car like this, that waiting period is completely gone. The moment you press the accelerator, you get instant, silent power. It feels like being pushed forward by a giant, invisible hand. Even in its most basic single-motor configuration, this car will likely dart away from stoplights faster than most sports cars from a decade ago. And because the heavy battery pack is mounted flat in the floor, the car's center of gravity is incredibly low. This means that when you turn the steering wheel, the car feels planted and secure, hugging the road without leaning over like a taller SUV would. It makes driving on a winding road genuinely fun, even if you are just on your way to pick up groceries. Driving a Tesla is not just about acceleration. It is about how the car manages its energy. This car will feature regenerative braking, which is a concept that sounds complicated but is actually wonderfully simple. When you take your foot off the accelerator pedal, the electric motor runs in reverse, acting like a generator. It slows the car down smoothly while simultaneously capturing that kinetic energy and putting it back into the battery. Once you get used to it, you can drive almost entirely with just one pedal, rarely ever needing to touch the actual brake pedal. It makes driving in stop-and-go traffic so much more relaxing. You just ease on the pedal to go and ease off to stop. It is a completely different rhythm of driving, and honestly, once you experience it for a few days, going back to a traditional gas car feels clunky and outdated. Let us talk about the reality of owning a car like this, because that is what really matters to you, the viewers of Crownline Reviews. The biggest question everyone has about electric cars is charging. Look at the background of this shot. That sleek white and black pillar the car is plugged into is a Tesla supercharger. This is Tesla's secret weapon. While other electric car owners are struggling with broken public chargers or confusing payment apps, Tesla owners have access to the largest, most reliable charging network in the world. You pull up, you plug the cable in, and the car starts charging. That is it. The car's computer talks to the charger, bills your account automatically, and tells you exactly how long it will take to get back on the road. For long road trips, the navigation system does all the math for you, routing you through superchargers so you never have to worry about running out of battery. The real magic of EV ownership happens at home. Imagine never having to visit a gas station ever again. No more standing in the freezing cold or the pouring rain, squeezing a dirty pump handle. With a car like this, you install a charger in your garage or driveway. You come home from work, you plug the car in just like you plug in your cell phone, and you wake up every single morning with a completely full tank. It is a profound shift in how you think about fueling your vehicle. And because electricity is generally much cheaper than gasoline, your daily running costs plummet. Furthermore, electric cars have a fraction of the moving parts of a gas car. There are no oil changes, no spark plugs to replace, no transmission fluid to flush, and no timing belts to snap. The maintenance schedule is incredibly light, mostly just rotating the tires and eventually replacing the windshield wiper fluid. Over the course of 5 or 10 years, the amount of money and time you save on maintenance is truly significant. Of course, we have to be honest here at Crownline Reviews. No car is perfect, and there are trade-offs to consider. If you live in an apartment building without dedicated parking, or if you regularly drive hundreds of miles a day through very remote areas, an electric car might still require a bit more planning than a gas car. And while the minimalist interior is beautiful, having to use a touchscreen to adjust your windshield wipers or change the air conditioning temperature can be frustrating when you just want a simple physical button. There's a learning curve to owning a Tesla. You have to get used to the door handles, the screen-based controls, and the way the car constantly updates its software over the internet, sometimes changing the layout of the screen overnight. It is a car that demands you adapt to it rather than the other way around. I want to ask you guys watching right now, what is the biggest thing holding you back from making the jump to an electric vehicle? Is it the price? Is it the charging infrastructure in your specific town? Or do you just love the sound and feel of a traditional engine? Drop a comment down below and let me know, because I read every single one of them, and it helps us figure out what kind of tests we need to run in future videos. We are a community of car lovers here, and navigating this massive shift in the automotive world is something we are all doing together. So what is the final verdict on this 2026 Tesla Model 2? Who is this car actually for? This car is for the person who wants a piece of the future today, but does not want to drive a massive truck or a luxury SUV to get it. It is for the commuter who is tired of paying for gas and oil changes. It is for the design enthusiast who appreciates bold, unapologetic styling that breaks the mold of boring traffic. If you want a car that blends in, a car that looks like everything else in the office parking lot, you should probably look elsewhere. There are plenty of great traditional hybrid sedans out there that will serve you well. But if you want a vehicle that makes a statement, a vehicle that is constantly improving through software updates, and a vehicle that makes the simple act of driving to work feel like a sci-fi experience, this new Tesla is going to be very hard to beat. It takes the revolutionary spirit of the original Model 3, injects it with the wild DNA of the Cybertruck, and packages it into something that is ready to take over the streets. It is not just a new car, it is a new way of thinking about what a compact car can be. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an upload. We have a lot more incredible vehicles coming your way very soon. Until next time, this is Crownline Reviews, reminding you that the future isn't just coming, it's already parked in the driveway.